A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all the guests, officials, speakers, and participants of the webinar on Women and Cybersecurity. Celebrating International Women's Day, CDAC, a mighty organization, is organizing a webinar titled Women and Cybersecurity. We take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy International Women's Day, which is celebrated on 8th of March every year to recognize the efforts and contributions of women across the globe in different walks of life. The UN theme for this year's International Women's Day is For All Women and Girls, Rights, Equality, Empowerment. The theme, in a way, indicates the need for cybersecurity awareness that aims to empower netizens, especially women, girls, children, with awareness on safe digital device usage practices and enable them with information on cybersecurity and career opportunities in the area to equip them with required tools and knowledge to safeguard themselves and contribute to safer digital space. Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, an organization under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, takes the privilege of organizing this webinar on the occasion of International Women's Day and welcomes one and all participating in this online webinar. Today's webinar on women and cybersecurity, planned on the special occasion, aims to impart necessary guidelines on cybersecurity aspects and career opportunities in the area, especially for women and girls. We sincerely hope that the seminar will benefit the women and girls in understanding the subject and gain useful information. A hearty welcome once again to one and all. I now request Dr. P.R. Lakshmi Iswari, Scientist G, Center Head, CDAC Hyderabad, to please welcome the guests and speakers and give the opening remarks.
Thank you, Simi. Am I audible, Simi?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah. So, very good afternoon to all of you, and wish you all a very happy International Women's Day.
Madam, you're not audible. Lakshmi, madam. Lakshmi, ma'am.
Ma'am, your voice is not coming up, madam.
Lakshmi, ma'am.
Madam, Scientist G and Group Coordinator on my team. Thank you, ma'am, for your encouragement to initiate this particular activity and all the support which you extend to CDAC and other organizations. So very warm welcome to you, and also for kindly accepting to deliver the presidential address in this particular important event. So we have with us Ms. Rama Vedashri ma'am, former CEO and DSA, having almost rich experience in industry and also like driving the cybersecurity activities at DSA. So, madam kindly agreed to deliver the career opportunities for women in cybersecurity. A warm welcome to you, ma'am, and we look forward to listen to you. And we have Karnika Seth, madam, advocate at Supreme Court of India. Madam would be talking about legal recourse against the cyber offences. Thank you, ma'am. This is also an important topic. All the three important people trying to address each one of us. And also we have some sessions from our CDAC employees like Indraveni and myself. And Simi is steering this particular event, and I welcome all the participants of this particular event. It's a great learning. As Simi mentioned, we are looking at two aspects. One is safety and cybersecurity for women, which is very, very important. Another thing is what are the career opportunities and R&D opportunities for women in cybersecurity, and also like we are even looking at legal aspects also. So this is very, very important forum, and once again a warm welcome to all the speakers, participants, and my colleagues to this particular important webinar on women and cybersecurity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for delivering the welcome address. I now take the privilege of introducing our speaker, Mrs. Sunita Verma. Mrs. Sunita Verma is Group Coordinator for R&D in Electronics and IT at Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, looking after the R&D activities. She has been playing a crucial role in development and promotion of electronics and IT across the country by way of formulation of policies, evolving R&D proposals, their deployment, and commercialization in association with industries, academia, and R&D organizations. She has long association of more than 30 years dealing in R&D work from basic research to product development. She is also heading the National Supercomputing Mission for development and deployment of state-of-the-art supercomputing facilities in the country. She was instrumental in creation of state-of-the-art VLSI labs across the country and initiated several successful programs like Special Manpower Development Program and Chips to Startup Program at 100 academic institutions. She was involved in conceptualization of the National Policy on Electronics 2019 and design linked incentive scheme as part of Semicon India program to nurture the domestic fabless chip design industry. Some other major initiatives being led by her are NAMPT, ITS, MRI, ultrasound, e-mobility, microprocessor development program, quantum computing, etc. Thank you, Madam, for your presence today. May I request you to kindly deliver the presidential address?
Yeah, thank you. And happy Women's Day to all the women who are here, our panelists, and all the women from our various R&D organizations. Thank you, SIDA, for organizing this very important aspect on the subject of cybersecurity for women. I think it's a very apt subject to be taken up. So, if we see, women are very highly active online, whether it is in the work, in social interactions, education, or in the business. And cyber threats such as identity threats, theft, cyber stalking, and online harassment are affecting women more than any other genders, or I'll say so women and children are the more vulnerable, or the older people are the one more vulnerable to the cybersecurity threats which are happening across the global scenario. And it is very important for the women to be aware of these threats and look at the mitigation and various aspects in this area. So, securing online accounts, data protection, and knowing about the data privacy, and also about financial security are some of the aspects I think where the awareness has to be there for the women. The most common cyber attacks which are targeted on the women are cyber stalking and harassment, where many women face online abuse, threats, or doxing. Social engineering attacks, where the scammers exploit the emotions and manipulate women, especially the young girls, into revealing their personal or financial information. There are identity threats where the personal details are stolen online and are used by the scamsters or the frauds, and also job and business scams which are happening across all this society verticals, like fake job offers or investment scams, which often target women professionals. So, with the women generally balancing a lot of their responsibilities at home, in the job, in business, in the social engagements, in bringing up their children, there are a lot of vulnerabilities which are there with the women sometimes, where this might lead to some very common or vulnerable cyber threats or attacks. if we look at the global statistics, the prevalence of, especially with respect to the prevalence of cyber violence, approximately 1 in 10 women have experienced a form of cyber violence since the age of 15. With respect to online harassment, the United Nations report highlights that 73% of the women have endured online with 18% of women aged around 18 to 29, which facing severe harassment, including stalking and sexual harassment. The how uh, women or girls, they are prone to such attacks. They are sometimes very afraid or very skeptical about sharing this with any other of their peers or their elders. So sometimes they are so much wrapped in these attacks, and they don't know how to get out of it or how to address it or come out of it. So this is something which is very important, that women are aware of their rights, the ways in which they can address, face such vulnerabilities or attacks, and the taken steps which need to be or solving state. The cyber crime against women in 2017 in India were around there were around 4,000 plus cases against women, and out of total 21,000 plus cybercrime cases, which indicated that 19% of the cybercrime are targeted against the women. And cyber stalking and bullying, as per 2022 records, is 555 reported incidents against women across the country. And India has reported 17,000 plus cases of cyber frauds with specific categories including credit debit card frauds, ATM frauds, online banking frauds, OTP frauds, and in last 2 years there is further increase in the cyber threats. So these statistics underscore the pressing need for an enhanced cybersecurity measures and awareness to protect women from cyber frauds and related crimes. We have in METI, we have an IT Act under which there is a protection given against the cyber crimes. There are mechanisms for reporting the cyber crimes to the police and to the authorities. I think that will be covered later on by our other esteemed panelists. So I was just trying to give an overview of how we need to empower the women against security threats, and what women have to do to ensure that they are from more and more awareness about the various cyber threats, which come in newer forms every time, and the rules and IT Act, which addresses these cyber threats, is what I think we should be aware of as women. And knowledge is power. Training and awareness can help the women to protect themselves and to mitigate any problems which are faced, if there are any. And there has to be a very robust support network in the organizations which need to exist to help the women to deal with cyber threats and provide guidance. So with this, I look forward to hearing from other panelists. Thank you, and once again, a very happy Wednesday.
Thank you so much, Madam. Thank you for highlighting the importance of cybersecurity for women in the current digital space, and also the need for training and awareness to safeguard themselves in online space. Thank you once again. Moving on, I now take the honor of introducing our next speaker, Ms. RamaV. Ms. RamaV is a former CEO, Data Security Council of India. She has more than 35 years of experience in the technology industry, and I request her to kindly deliver the talk on career opportunities for women in cybersecurity. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi, and thank you, CDAC team, for organizing this on International Women's Day. First of all, happy Women's Day to all my fellow panelists and all the participants who are joining us. In my role at DSCI, my last role at DSCI as CEO, I've had a close association with the CDAC team, particularly the CDAC Hyderabad and CDAC Noida team. I would like to believe that we have worked on a lot of joint programs like ISEA and also Women in Cybersecurity and Cyber Siksha program. So very happy to join a forum hosted by CDAC. So I wanted, Madam Sunita already talked about why cybersecurity in online spaces is important for women. I wanted to focus more on the opportunity side of cybersecurity so that young women professionals or young students who are passing out of colleges and universities can look at cybersecurity as a domain for their careers. So the important thing to remember is that when you say career opportunities in cybersecurity, it is important to segment the players who are in this ecosystem who hire and recruit workforce. One is the technology industry itself. In the technology industry, again, we have to segment them. There is a large IT services firms, both global and Indian firms, which have huge cybersecurity operations plus cybersecurity services for their customer projects, which they execute for worldwide out of India, both global companies and Indian companies. So cybersecurity services firms, which you are familiar with, whether it is TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Tech Mahindra. I'm just giving a small sample. Accenture, IBM, all of them operate out of India. They, HCL, all of them have a large and growing cybersecurity practice to be able to do cybersecurity implementations and rollouts for customers worldwide. Then there is a very large cybersecurity product ecosystem out of India, and it includes global cybersecurity product companies which have R&D operations in India, in several cities of India, including Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Noida, all of these places. So those are cybersecurity R&D centers. And there's a very large Indian cybersecurity product ecosystem, including some of them are emerging startups, who hire a lot of talent pool from universities, PhDs, and MTechs and BTechs and other product engineering folks. These are the two ones. And then there is something called as GCCs, Global Competency Centers, which are all the global majors, Fortune 500 companies from US, Europe, Japan, who again have a very large cyber. If you look up the DSCI website, we do a lot of research reports. Even now, they continue to publish a lot of research reports. There's a lot around the GCCs in cyber. They hire a lot of talent in product engineering and running large SOCs and cybersecurity operations for their global companies out of India. So broadly, I would say that among the tech industry, the career opportunities span services, products, both global and Indian product companies, and GCCs. Now comes the overall product industry in India and a lot of the tech startups. All of them have a lot of opportunities in cyber because there's a lot around secure developments, security by design principles, which have to be baked into their products. And most of the online, companies and B2C online companies, whatever the field, it can be a health tech, fintech, or e-commerce, all of them have very strong cybersecurity teams because they have to integrate that into their product and into their platforms. Now comes the rest of the India Inc. and government. Central government and state government are organized, and all the PSUs and PSUs across critical information infrastructure, whether it is in banking, whether it is in oil and gas, telecom, right? Both public sector and private sector, power sector, utilities, healthcare, all of them have a big growing requirements for cybersecurity professionals at all layers of the career ladder, whether it's entry level, mid level, or senior level at the head of like a head of infosec and chief information security officers level. And then there are a whole lot of other R&D labs in academic institutions, right? And the entire product ecosystem. For example, let's say you take a healthcare company, right? You might be saying these are healthcare company, ma'am. It's an healthcare OEM managing, manufacturing large uh, diagnostic equipment or any other health products. But all of them have a requirement for baking in security into their product. That's why every global OEM who has an R&D center, I'm differentiating it from a cybersecurity product company versus every other product company which has a requirement. Where there's a lot around security by design, secure engineering, software engineering integrated with all the security practices. There's a lot of requirement. And who are these professionals who can look at cybersecurity pathway for a career? There's a perception that cybersecurity is only an engineering role. Of course, it is an engineering role. There's a lot of requirement for engineering students to come into the cybersecurity practice, both in services, operations, and product development, product deployment, and rollouts. As most of Indian enterprises, small, medium, and very large enterprises, are moving towards the cloud platforms. There's a lot around cloud security, right? But there is also a requirement of other professionals. For example, people who come from overall risk background. It could be, chartered accountants. It could be legal professionals like one of my panelists, Miss Kanika, right? There is a lot of requirement on the overall what is called as GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, right? It is not just the software engineering side where there is obviously a growing opportunity in information security, network security, data security, and overall cyber. But there are also other professions which can come into the cybersecurity field. For example, if you're a health tech building a health tech product for online or an online platform, there is a lot that people with the healthcare services background can also contribute to this. And more, and also anyone in the risk framework, which could be chartered accountants, it could be legal, it could be even management professionals, because you will be surprised that cyber is one of the fastest growing vertical in the technology industry in India and worldwide. So even if you're a management professional and you have been in the sales and marketing side, there are a lot of opportunities to be able to get into the business side of cybersecurity. So all I'm trying to clarify is that there are various industry players in the technology industry and across all verticals, whether it's healthcare, power, whether it's banking, whether it's financial, overall financial services, and central and state government. And of course, army and defense also have very large cyber requirements. I'm not getting into so much. I'm talking more on the civilian and enterprise side. And in each of this, for example, if you are in the development, you have chosen the software development side. Even there is a need for a lot of skills upgrade to be able to get into secure software development life cycle. And there is, whether it's even in terms of security testing of of digital platforms and products, and understanding these principles of security by design and integrating into your software development and design cycles. That is one area. Of course, network and infrastructure security. In telecom side, 5G has been rolled out, so everything around telecom security, 5G security, app security, and as you're moving towards 6G, right? Similarly, in healthcare, there's a lot around secure products, because you know that in some of these domains like healthcare and all that, any vulnerabilities might actually even lead to a fatal mishap, right? Similarly, in power sector or any of these other critical information infrastructure sectors, any vulnerabilities in the products that you deploy have a lot of public health and safety issues. So similarly, in India, I think there is a lot of opportunity around IoT and similar other domains. So what is important is just don't look at a generic cybersecurity program, because many of them are leading to automation, and because of AI, many of the vanilla roles in cybersecurity will diminish. Increasingly, it will be about specialization. And so, if you can look at it, for example, if you're a young or a mid-career professional in the technology industry, all of us know, the growth opportunities in AI. If you have started building skills on that, but what is important is the intersection of AI with cybersecurity. Every cybersecurity product, services, and platform integrates a lot of AI, machine learning, and deep learning. So if you're an AI, specialist or a machine learning specialist, can you look at cybersecurity domain, because a lot of hiring happens in the product development space. I mean, R&D institutions like CDAC have done that, have done quite a bit of that. Similarly, if you're in the technology law space, there is so much that can be done in cyber law. There's a lot that can be done around tech policy and that implementation and governance space. Similarly, if you're a management plus a legal professional, when you talk about AI, there is a lot around governance. So if you broaden the overall governance and risk and compliance space, cybersecurity happens to be one of the big verticals across all disciplines where hiring is happening at all levels. And of course, there are senior risk management practices that come up. So you can look at what is your academic background and your current role and where you can grow. I believe there are multiple opportunities. Even in academia, there's a lot of research. I see so many academic institutions looking at very specialized programs in PhD for cryptography, for in quantum space, in machine learning, in overall the digitization sphere. So if you understand the broader digitization game, and what is important to understand now is there is no business enterprise which is not a digital enterprise now, right? In whatever, even a big hospital is now a very large digital enterprise. Similarly, banking, financial services, online e-commerce. So when you look at digital, even Madam Sunita already talked about the cyber risks. Cyber risk is one of the biggest threat to any business now. So if you look at the risk, which is escalating all the time, digitization is leapfrogging in every enterprise in India and worldwide. So attention to cyber risk is very strong, whether it is from MeitY and certain, or from regulators like RBI, SEBI, IRDA, Ministry of Power, even every sector which is critical to the rails of our economy. The cyber frameworks and cyber regulations and cyber compliance mandates are becoming more and more stringent. So there are opportunities on the provider ecosystem, which is the technology industry, and the user ecosystem, which spans all the verticals. So I would urge more and more young women professionals to consider cyber as a career, because that is one which will offer you a lot of learning and growth path. Plus, I think the country needs it and industry needs it, and we are one of the largest growing cyber hubs in the world across all global companies and Indian companies. We are doing a lot for global customers. So that is one thing that I would like to. And then you can specialize. You might say, I want to specialize in forensics. I want to, specialize in maybe the overall secure coding. Somebody may want to specialize in network or telecom security. So there are a lot of opportunities, but the game here is building more and more technical skills and specialization. Cyber is not an area where you can be a generalist and hope to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for throwing a very clear light and focusing on the career opportunities in cybersecurity area in different sectors across the different domains. Thank you once again. I now take the privilege of introducing our next speaker, Dr. Karnika Seth. Dr. Karnika A. Seth is an internationally renowned cyber lawyer and public policy expert and advisor to Ministry of IT and Defense Ministry, Government of India. She actively contributes her expertise in various national projects. Dr. Seth is a part of international legal think tank that work for women and child empowerment. Her views on women-related laws have been solicited by the World Bank and UNICEF, working on online safety of children and actively associates with UNESCO International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, ICMEC, in its think tank in India. She is a distinguished author and educator and a recipient of various national awards and honors. Thank you, madam, for your valuable presence today. May I request you to kindly deliver the talk on legal recourse for women against cyber offenses?
Sure. Namaskar, and I want to, at the outset, wish all of us here a very, very happy Women's Day. It is an occasion we all are celebrating and with great pride. So I'm really glad that this talk is arranged by ISEA, and I've been long associated with CDAC, and this is yet another chance to share my views on the subject. And before I begin, I would like to thank Sunita ji for her talk, and also Rama madam for her address, which is so inspiring for the youth, because this is something that concerns each one of us, not only us, our responsibility to be a torchbearer for the next generation to come, but also we can mentor them well, and this way we are able to give them the right direction through whatever we have learned on our journeys. So thank you so much for the inputs and the suggestions and the advice, guidance which has been given in these talks before me. My topic, as I come from the legal fraternity, is to talk about the legal recourse and the challenges which women face, and how they can have legal redress in terms of cybercrime. When there's cybercrime in the country, not only has it grown phenomenally over the past few decades, I would say, but it's something that we have seen as a trend, a rising trend across the world. So this is what we'll be talking about. Doesn't just concern India or Indian women. We understand the there are no borders in cyberspace, and likewise when we talk about whenever I discuss these issues, even on the global forums, I find a commonality between the modus operandi of criminals into the digital space, and the kind of I would say vulnerabilities, or the kind of lacunas in enforcement, laws, and awareness also in general, in the cyberspace. So this will sync with anybody in fact, any nation across the world. But nevertheless, our focus, since it's on India, I'll be talking about Indian law today, and how we can empower each other, and as women, spread out the word of being obviously careful whenever we are on this on the internet, or on digital media. I'll also be talking about the common problems, the trends, and the legal recourse. So I begin by listing out a few of the issues that I've actually seen in terms of cases that I've handled. And not only, I remember initial days were the problems of cyber stalking, when the digital media just began, and a lot of dependency on internet for communications happened. We saw a lot of women being stalked. It is not just women, I'm talking about even girls uh, less than 18 years old. So therefore, we see a lot of times, they are harassed through online media, and that could be a sign of bullying. And many times you see, even the current times, trolling has increased. So while the ingredients of these offenses remain harassment or intimidation, or bullying someone, but the nomenclature and the kind of the gravity has shifted. Also sometimes the nature has shifted with growing, evolving technology. you will appreciate what we saw in the Rashmika Mandana's case, for example, is the use of technology for creating a deep fake. Now that was obviously for harassment or for even causing defamation and intimidation. So while these are the basic ingredients which we find in these kind of cases of stalking or even creating fake pictures or videos of anybody, but we find that the technology, the use of technology, especially in the AI times, has led to more complexities in terms of finding or tracing the content which is there in the, whether it's a viral video or an image. And we also not only grapple with the technical evolution, I would say, but also we try and find more ways through technology itself to find such videos. So for example, DNA photo hash mechanism has been used to trace these pictures and viral videos. So at the same time, we have an evolving legal framework and a system. So why I'm starting on this note is because very recently we've had changes in our criminal law framework. The CRPC, the IPC, and the Indian Evidence Act, which was there for a long time in India, has now completely been overhauled by new legislations like the BNS, the BNSS, and the BSA. So we saw a lot of change in terms of the current landscape in India. And while a lot of these offenses like cyber stalking, for example, we find under the BNS, which has been dealt with by 3 years of imprisonment or fine or more, there are certain other offenses like intimidation with 2 years of punishment. And if you see morphing, for example, that's again punishable offense, and that's something again like up to 3 years of imprisonment, fine or more. The same offenses sometimes are also defined by the special law in the country, which is the Information Technology Act. And there we find sections like 66C and D, which talk about identity theft or cheating by personation, and have a punishment of about 3 years of imprisonment, fine or more. Then we have cases which are of the category where sexual harassment is meted out, and where sexual explicit content, images or videos are created. Now those are obviously invasion of privacy. So we have a separate section for invasion of privacy, which is 66E of the IT Act. Again, punishment up to 3 years of imprisonment, fine or more. And we find in terms of sexual explicit content, about 5 years of imprisonment has been given as a provision. Now, those cases are the sexual content cases. Then there is a defamation section under the BNS, and again, up to 2 years of imprisonment, fine or more. We also have, provisions for hacking. There are a lot of times when, even in cases where I've seen fake identity theft cases, there are also cases which are involving not only one kind of an offense, but there are multiple offenses involved. For example, in a case of a social media fraud, for instance, or a matrimonial site or a dating site, there could be also a hacking attempt where a virus has been sent through a particular link or a particular suspicious email, and once the woman clicks on it, her entire device is infected by a keylogger, which makes it almost like a CCTV. Everything she's typing on the laptop is available for the hacker to see, even the OTP is on the phone. So this is the level of, I would say, vulnerability one can have if one doesn't maintain due diligence and prudence on the net. So therefore, the importance of having such discussions is, can't be underscored at this point. And the rise in I would say digital arrest cases, for example, if you see the digital arrest cases, also a lot of women have also been, targeted for digital arrest. And I've dealt with many cases where women, for example, have been duped through phishing attacks or wishing attacks or smishing attacks. Now these are all hybrid terms, but essentially somebody is impersonating as someone else, maybe a banker or an insurance broker or someone, and then the woman really believes that this is a genuine call, and she gives away her credentials or her personal sensitive information, and the monies are siphoned off the next minute. So these are very rampant frauds, and of late fake courier scams, fake job scams, work from home scams, and there are n number of these kind of crimes percolating in the cyberspace. So what one must do, there are also cases, where sextortion is, for example, there is a estranged relationship with somebody. She may have shared certain pictures which were private to her earlier, and those have been, threat. I mean, it's been a threat to her that they will be published online or on any particular forum. Obviously, there will be a criminal intimidation in such a case. So those kind of cases are also, being dealt with, and they are being registered under the current laws in India. So if you see the kind of threats, most of them happen to be anonymous. Nobody will say who is writing or who is behind a particular crime. And most of them are also happening with email boxes which are self-destructible. So the technology is being misused by these criminals to conduct or commit these kind of crimes. There's a huge landscape. You'll understand that. I mean, you'll agree with me that there are n number of variations and there are n number of offenses which are there in the cyberspace today. Now, I haven't talked about all of them, but if you see child pornography, is yet another issue, and grooming, that's something which is punishable with up to 5 years of imprisonment, fine or more. Then we also have cases where POXO could be involved, where it's a girl child, and I've seen those cases, dealt with some of the sexual harassment cases, grooming cases there also. And there are huge rackets. With Kerala police, for example, I was looking at certain investigations where certain softwares have been deployed to track and make correlation graphs of which countries are involved in these rackets. So it's that kind of level of sophistication which they deploy, and then that kind of level of sophistication required to actually unravel and resolve those kind of crimes. So it's very, very complex in that space, and it's getting more complex with blockchain being, in the offing. Then there's AI, and there are deep fakes and n number of technologies, emerging tech today. So therefore, the dialogue about ethical compliance and ethical values should be there. Humanitarian approach to use of AI. Coming back to the law, DPDP is definitely a big, I would say, a milestone which is there for India. So our private information is be kept private, and that's a big, I would say, development, and ensures, the right to be forgotten, ensures the fundamental right of privacy is respected, both, for with private and, I would say, public entities coming under its scope. Now, where to report? 1930 is a national helpline, and cybercrime.gov.in is the national cybercrime reporting portal. And in terms of redressal, when the complaint is filed, you can even file it anonymously. And for child pornography related things, it is mandatory to report. It's important that your information can be kept anonymous on these reporting portals, and also won't be put up in media. The name of the child won't be put up in media. You can have in camera proceedings to maintain secrecy and confidentiality. It doesn't have to be in open court either. And the level of redress that you get is not only, see, the writing to the grievance redressal officer, for example, of a social media platform has succeeded in many cases where there's an immediate takedown or blocking of the required content. There are times when we have to go to courts and we have sought injunction orders and we've got them. There has been a blocking, direction given by the courts, and very happy to say that we have dynamic injunction orders. So even if it's one clip which is on several URLs, it can be blocked through one order. You don't have to move to court each time a new URL is created. So that's again a big development in terms of law. There are criminal remedies, there are civil remedies. You can go for compensation. So in this way, there is a lot that can be done, provided we act, provided we report. So my take on this is, or rather, I would encourage women to report cybercrime. And that's very, very important for us. And I, in the end, would like to say that prevention is obviously better than cure. So I always encourage women to maintain cyber vigilance, be empowered citizens, very careful in what you post, because once it's there, it's very difficult to delete content from the web totally, because there is a footprint. And avoid sharing and content which one doesn't want to be in the public domain. Adopt vigilance when clicking on any links. That's something which I always say. And don't trust just any caller who would call and say, they may pose as someone, because that is social engineering, and a lot of women fall prey to that. And that's something we need to understand, that if there is crime offline, there is more crime online. So you have to be, your safety lies in your own hands. So just have that power within you, and don't trust anyone without any proper verification. So in the end, I feel on this important occasion of Women's Day, I my personal message to all women who are here in this forum and otherwise has been that one must believe in oneself. And I know that we shoulder a lot of responsibility both at home and in our office spaces and organizations we build. So one has to be always having faith in your own thoughts and actions and wisdom. And there is sky's the limit for women. They can really achieve a lot provided they believe in themselves, and they persevere. Because in our patriarchal society that we have and has been in India, I think all women who lead and inspire today have also had their own struggles, and they're continuing to have. But the important takeaway is that one has to fight fear, or one has to fight fear within, and nobody, no woman is incomplete. I feel that we must realize, a lot of women I have seen, and I have dealt with many clients, and I've seen the psychological trauma they've gone through when they have, suffered from these kind of crimes. My job there is not just as a lawyer there, and I try, to tell them that, look, you have to overcome. There are challenges in everybody's life, big or small, but the idea is to overcome them, and face it. And then that's how you reach out for your dreams. Because a lot of women give up in especially in mid career. I think we would have all seen that happen in every walk of life, in fact every field of life. So a lot of women do that, but I would encourage them to take up, any hobby or any profession they'd like. And that's something which they must believe, that then they will have God power with them. So it's important for them to realize the intrinsic values and the intrinsic, I would say, confidence that they themselves, have it within them. So be self-assured, be self-reliant, and just self-validated. That's how I feel about, what I'd like to convey. And with that, Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your inspirational and motivational words, and also for explaining how law can come to the aid of netizens, especially women, in case of possible cyber offenses and crimes, and the possible punishments which can happen in case they report, and the ways of redressal, and also for emphasizing the need to act for redressal and also prevention. Thank you once again.
Ma'am, I have a question to Madam, though it's a short time because in the benefit of the audience. Ma'am, these days we are seeing many a times that many girl students and even women also are having many issues with some online friends or people coming through different social networking channels. And they're not finding a way to actually take action against those online friends. Some people are creating accounts, creating some kind of havoc to the girl, and they're deleting the accounts. So in such case, what should we suggest we to the members, that how they can actually approach law and how they can trace out that particular person who have created issue to them?
So two things on this. One is that our intermediary guideline rules have been, framed in the country, wherein even the VPN providers or the data centers, these email service providers, they all have to keep the content for about 5 years, which is a good time frame. So any data which is, when any account which is created by them, they have to keep the KYC. They have to know who the subscriber is, even though they may have privacy protect features, but when it comes to law enforcement, they have to share data. So that's one. Second is that whenever something like this happens, it needs to be reported. unless they report it, there will not be any action. So in those kind of cases, it's important to report, and then once the legal machinery is invoked and the cases happen in the courts, they can certainly get the legal redressal they need in this scenario, and there will be compensation, there will be injunction orders passed by courts to get that account holders details, and there have been many cases where this has succeeded. Now, one aspect is there are a lot of women feel this is a myth actually. A lot of women feel that all the messages that they are getting, or any kind of accounts where Instagram, I've handled these cases where Instagram has a short, maybe a short, like on Facebook also, 24-hour, the photo will be there to defame, or there'll be a morphed picture or otherwise. So the best thing to do in such a scenario is the moment you find something which is illegal, take a picture, save the screenshots, because once it gets deleted, how will you prove that something like this has happened? What we encourage them to do is take printouts, take screenshots, because that is evidence which will be admissible in the court of law. There's a procedure of collection, there's a procedure of producing that in court. We usually file a section 65B certificate, now a 63 BNS certificate, BSA certificate, sorry, in the Evidence Act, and therefore you can produce this in the court, and the courts will take action based on that evidence. So a lot of time women feel that it's only an SMS or only a particular phone call. They can record phone calls, they are getting threats on phone. If anything suspicious has been sent, take a screenshot, and that account, that handle, everything can be mapped, whatever is their evidence, and that can be utilized for further investigation. So these two things I wanted to just highlight in this case.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Proceeding with the webinar, I now take the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, Dr. P.R. Lakshmi Iswari. Dr. P.R. Lakshmi Iswari is presently working as Scientist G Center Head, Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, Hyderabad. She is associated with CDAC for the past 25 years in various R&D, solution development, and capacity building initiatives. Her areas of interest include R&D in end system security, embedded and IoT security, mobile device security, and blockchain technology. She, along with her team, developed and deployed various cybersecurity and blockchain-based solutions. Under consortium project, she's involved in implementing the National Blockchain Framework initiative of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Earlier, she worked as a lecturer at NIT Warangal in Computer Science and Engineering Department for 2+ years. She completed her PhD and MTech in Computer Science from JNTU University, Hyderabad. Thank you, madam, for your presence. May I request you to kindly deliver the talk on R&D opportunities for women in cybersecurity?
Thank you, Simi. Once again, wish you all a very happy International Women's Day. Previous speaker, starting from Sunita Madam, she highlighted the challenges women faced in cybersecurity and what kind of care has to be taken. And Dr. Karnika Madam has highlighted once again the specific cases and what is a legal framework and what kind of care women has to take, and reporting incidents, and how they need to protect themselves when they are in the digital world. So these speakers have nicely brought in about the what care has to be taken while using the gadgets, social media, and other internet services. So it is very important for women that she's aware of cybersecurity practices so that she can implement and also empower the children, family, and society at large. So as we are aware, like focus of this many webinar is on two aspects. One is about safety and cybersecurity for women, and other one is cybersecurity career opportunities for women. Rama Madam has nicely covered the job roles in the industry. And now in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll try to focus on R&D opportunities in cybersecurity. So, as Madam mentioned, cybersecurity one of the fastest growing the technology vertical in the present scenario. So, let me try to bring out some of the background and the importance of this particular domain. So, if you recollect in the IT system evolution, if you see that we have moved from mainframes to the personal computers, and then we talked about computer networks, and we tried to build various applications based on the client server. So a lot of protocols we have evolved, and then through World Wide Web, we try to access a lot of applications over the internet. Then, as Madam suggested, healthcare systems and banks and other things, enterprise computing has widely adopted. Then we moved into the mobile computing, where we try to access all kinds of making calls and SMS and other things like that, handheld devices. Then on-demand access through the cloud, and then distributed systems and IoT and edge computing with the cyber physical systems. And very recently, we started talking about autonomic computing, or in terms of autonomous vehicles and other things like that. So these are kind of evolution which happened. And in the recent times, the critical infrastructure, all the power sector and all, we are trying to integrate IT and OT, and we are trying to access the OT environments through the networks. So if you look at the evolution, so, and also protocols also, like we had the wired protocols, then we moved into the wireless, and lot of kind of convenience happened over the period. So all this evolution basically looks at two things. One is user convenience, and the other one is efficiency in our systems. So one thing what we need to realize is, in all this evolution, along with this kind of convenience, whatever the end user has got, the adversary also can use this kind of efficiency and convenience to carry out the malicious activities. This is something adversary tries all possibilities. Maybe if you say that some kind of hacker, some 20 years back, it was tough for a person to try to launch an attack, because he has to learn a lot of details at the assembly coding, operating system internals, and other things like that. Whereas in the present scenario, if you look at it, there are readily available exploit kits and other things on the internet, using which people can launch the attack in no time. So in the present scenario, if you look at it, we have a lot of the security threats in terms of viruses, worms, insider attacks, and then cloud, especially we have shadow IT attacks, OTP frauds, SQL injection, crypto jamming with crypto, especially cryptocurrency mining aspects and all, in terms of unauthorized mining. Then social engineering, OTP frauds, man in the middle attacks, phishing, drive by download, like that, advanced attacks like advanced persistent threat, 0 days, and many more. Okay, so we are living with all these kind of threats in our networks and systems. And also, if you look at it, generally, if you try to analyze why we made all these systems, whether you talk about desktop application or online service, so there are mobile app, there is a specific purpose. So your job is getting done do these kind of things. It can be a word processing application, or it can be an online service in terms of online banking, or so you are making your job easy. So there is a specific purpose and behavior. But what the adversary is doing, that they are trying to disrupt the activities for personal gains. It can be a pleasure, or it can be a monetary gain, or it can be something else. So what is all about cybersecurity in this present scenario? See, in this evolution, as a whenever there is a new emerging technology, there is also a cybersecurity threat associated with that. So that's why Madam mentioned that it is the fastest growing the technology vertical, and it cuts across all the verticals in the IT domain. So it's not that something, it's a separate activity, whether it is IoT domain or other area, everywhere there is a requirement for cybersecurity. So it is all about protecting our electronics and IT systems from these malicious users, and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability in all our IT systems. So generally, this can be dealt in different ways, but definitely it has to be dealt holistically. The reason is, you cannot do everything with the technologies alone. So we need to have the process and the governance frameworks, and the people also to be aware of the skills, and people need to have ethics, that they should not share the passwords with other people, and they should have the enough skills to secure their the systems. So that is all about holistically, we need to deal that, and organizations are have planning in that particular manner to secure their infrastructure. Coming to the technologies, if you talk about cybersecurity technologies, see, Madam talked about some advanced threats like deepfakes and all. So AI is being used to create fake videos, fake images, and voice and other things like that. So these kind of advances are happening. What kind of the solutions? It is a continuous evolution. So earlier, if you look at it, we had something about IDS, IPS at the gateway level, or sometime later we moved to the unified threat management appliance at the gateway level, and later we moved something like security information and event management and other solutions. Now presently we talk about threat intelligence, continuously try to monitor the activity and then try to detect the threat and other things. So similarly in network security solutions and endpoint also, we used to talk about antivirus some time back. So the later we talked about endpoint security solutions along with antivirus, lot of other components, application whitelisting, device control, and even at endpoint also, we moved from the desktop environment to the mobile. Then mobile also, now we talk about Kaspersky has got an endpoint, or we talk about mKavach 2 from CDAC. And very recently, we even talk about IoT as one endpoint, because whatever the devices which you are purchasing or anything, so we need to have some kind of agent which can monitor the security, whether the behavior is happening as per the whatever is claimed, or something like hidden backdoors or anything like that. So now these are kind of evolution so happened with this. And also anti-malware industry also, if you look at it, we used to talk about signature based way back when code red worm and other things were there. Presently the signature based with the cannot solve this particular malware problem, because the malwares are generated now and then, like every hour there are a lot of malwares which are generated. So we use other approaches like heuristic based, behavior based, and other things. So these are the kind of evolution happened. A lot of R&D teams working at the government, industry, and all. So cybersecurity is always a moving target, and we need to keep developing the new technologies. And coming to this, there are plenty of R&D opportunities in cybersecurity, and it is an ever-growing, evergreen domain. As long as there are new technologies and emerging, the technologies are coming up, threat scenario is also evolving, because the same kind of technologies can be used by the adversary to try to carry out some kind of the disruption and other things like that. So we talk about a lot of things in the recent times, like quantum computing, artificial intelligence, cyber physical systems. Like, so we talk about IoT, edge computing, or proliferation, and we talk about connected vehicles with IoT with the vehicles, C2V2X, and other things like that, blockchain. In all these technologies, so they are helping out in specific with a specific objective. But all these technologies are also trying to bring some kind of the security challenges. So these are very important that we address all these kind of things. So like for example, if you try to look at this kind of artificial intelligence, if you look at it, as madam mentioned, actually AI is one of the very important thing which we are using for quite some time. Almost like for 2 decades we are depending on machine learning and all in order to address some of the cybersecurity challenges. Definitely it has got very good potential in enabling the threat intelligence in our networks in the future also. So it definitely helps us as one of the important vertical to address the cybersecurity, to carry out research and build the solutions. At the same time, there are some security challenges with AI which need to be addressed. Okay, so these kind of things to be taken care. Uh, all these things are important. Similarly, quantum, when you talk about quantum resistant security, is also very important, which we need to look at it. IoT devices, edge computing, and all, we need to look.
Madam, your voice, I mean, madam, please unmute yourself. Lakshmi madam, your voice is not audible.
When we talk about connected vehicles or electric vehicles, in all these technologies, they try to bring in the kind of security threats along with them. Blockchain is one domain where actually in the recent times, to enable the trust in our IT systems, we are depending on that. So provenance and other things, single source of truth, all these things are possible. But at the same time, whatever the smart contracts which we talk about actually enabling the automated agreements and tamper-proof storage of the kind of the protocols and other things. So here there are challenges, because any new technology, it has to be tested. It should not have hidden vulnerabilities in that particular thing. So all these things are potential areas where we can definitely work towards building the cyber security in all those aspects. So that is one thing. There is a lot of scope for research and in designing indigenous security solutions while adopting all these technologies like quantum resistant AI-based security solutions or security for AI. Okay, and whatever we talk about security, information, and event management in the present scenarios, SIM and SOAR technologies, they can definitely be strengthened in making them as autonomous cybersecurity solutions with lot of AI and human teaming and other aspects can be brought about. And also, we can think about enabling security at the hardware level, hardware security aspects, trusted platform modules, hardware root of trust, trusted platforms. And with the DPDP Act is going to be live in the some near future. Privacy preserving is another important things. Okay, so that is how actually not just actually these kind of things. There's a lot of scope. It's not that cybersecurity is altogether a separate thing. Whatever area in which you are interested in that particular domain, you can definitely try to take care of the security aspects of those kind of things. And another important thing is it's not the research in terms of trying to identify the threat scenario and building the security products or solutions. So there is equally good areas in this particular domain in terms of security testing and security auditing our systems, and then managing the IT infrastructure and security aspects of the these things. So all these things are very important. Based on our interest and capabilities, we can definitely take all these kind of domains. And even capacity building and skilling is another important domain. So it's a lot of requirement is there for trained people. So that is another area. Anyone who want to be in the education domain, there are a lot of scope in that particular thing. So there are many opportunities in cybersecurity R&D towards these kind of things, the indigenous solutions and all. And coming to the opportunities across the government R&D labs. So when you talk about CDAC or CDOT and even all the premier academic institutes in the country, industry, and all the DRDO labs, like in all the places where there is the lot of scope for carrying out the R&D in cybersecurity domain, and with the strong fundamentals in mathematics and the electronics or computer science and aptitude towards the research, you can definitely work in this particular domain. And that's one thing where you can see all these labs look for the innovative research and for applied research leading to usable solutions, and also in terms of patents, like world standard or standard development or even quality publications. All these are the scope of this particular R&D efforts. And so ministry also, our ministry of electronics and IT encourages to take up the advanced research in all those domains, and they also actively fund the various organizations to address these challenges and build the innovative solutions. So there is a lot of need. This is one domain. It is very, very important to build our own indigenous solutions, and there is a huge need for manpower, and women can definitely play an active role. There are many, many challenging opportunities for women to work in the cybersecurity research, and with a good work-life balance also. Okay, so that is something which is very important. And as I mentioned, there are very lot of verticals also. Someone can go into the cryptography, someone can talk about network security, someone may look at the hardware level, someone may be very strong at the OS level, they can internals, they can look at it. So based on your strength, you can choose and work in that particular domain, or maybe audit assessment, or it can be something like that. So there are a lot of areas, and there are also various courses offered at CDAC and other organizations like Future Skills Prime, ISEA, and other things, where we can get a foundation courses you can do and try to enter into this particular cybersecurity domain. So I encourage women to take up this career in cybersecurity. There are a lot of challenging opportunities in this. And another most important thing is, see whether we are in this particular thinking about making career in cybersecurity or not. One most important thing is, see if you are in the software industry, when you are trying to design the systems in the software, it can be a web application or it can be a mobile application, anything it is, the need of the hour is security by design is one of the important thing. So we all know about secure software development life cycle, but in order to build robust and a software which is secure, it's always important that the software whatever we develop is vulnerability free. So that's where there is a need for secure software development life cycle. So this is something which is important to everyone, because this is a proactive way of addressing or handling the cybersecurity. Most of the time we try to do the reactive approach. Once some vulnerability and penetration happens, after that we try to have the defense in depth, the layers we try to add, so that you can try to stop the penetration through those vulnerabilities. So the reactive approach is to avoid these vulnerabilities by following the proper secure software development life cycle and thorough testing before it goes to the production environment. So this is something very important, because there is a lot of growth or in terms of challenges with respect to 0 days in our systems. So the number of 0 days are exponentially growing in all our software systems. So definitely there is a need for this kind of things. So it is very important for everyone involved in software development to have the secure software development or security by design principles and privacy by design principles. So please make sure that you acquire these skills, and there are a lot of courses on secure SDLC from CDAC and even from other organizations also. So definitely cybersecurity is one of the important area for women to pursue their career. CDAC is one potential organization where a lot of work happens in this domain, and also there are a lot of government organizations, premier institutes and industry where there is a good potential to carry out research. And also Rama madam highlighted about the job roles in the industry also to take up the career in this. So wish you good luck, and whoever is interested to work in this, it's a challenging domain, and we advise you to take up this thing. And definitely there are like you can definitely have a career in cybersecurity, and you can have a work-life balance also. So which I will definitely assure we all evolve like this in this particular area. And wish you good luck, and once again wish you all a very, very happy International Women's Day. Thank you for joining us, and also I thank all the speakers also, other speakers who have joined us and shared their experiences with us. Thank you. Over to Simi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing the information related to R&D opportunities for women in cybersecurity. Thank you once again. Moving on, I now take the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, Srimati Indraveni K. Srimati K. Indraveni has over 20 years of experience and achieved expertise in web technologies, web designing and development, web administration, web security, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, information security, open source software, and cloud computing. She is skilled security auditor and tester. She is a certified ISMS lead auditor and has many well-known certifications on web application security to her credit. She has published research papers in various conferences and delivered talks, and has been a keynote speaker in various cybersecurity conferences. Srimati Indraveni has actively involved in development of BOSS, GNU, Linux, an Indian version of Linux operating system, and has conducted more than 300 security awareness workshops across the country. May I request you, madam, to kindly deliver the talk on use of technology to protect from the cyber scams?
Madam, thank you so much. So I just made a few slides because I wanted to show certain examples. So good evening to all, and I once again wish everyone a happy Women's Day. So coming to the today's discussion upon how do we protect ourselves against all these cyber threats is something very challenging. Many all our speakers have already given us certain hints in how to protect our personal data and how do we act upon and so on. So there is something called as gender-based violences that are happening, and wherein technology facilitated gender-based violence is much more seen. These are all terminologies that are being coined out. However, it's all about the attacks that we have been discussed earlier in this session. So in all of these attacks, all of these scamsters are using technology only in different ways to actually perform attack and make the women affected, either it is personally, professionally, from their health wise or the mental issues. In this way, different mechanisms they are trying to do in order to perform the various cyber attacks. Now, it is our time to also understand how we try to reversely use the same technology to actually help us solve the problems and try to evaluate or understand what other person is saying or is trying to do. So to do that, first, most important is we need to be understanding how they are doing. Like if you see, there are so many news around us happening about different cyber crimes where the scamsters are trying to use the modus operandi kind of something like this, where you take it either a sexting or a pig butching or cyber stalking, anything of this kind of things. In every context, these one of these or the sequential of this modus operandi is followed by cyber attackers, where they start having the contact, they build your trust, they try to start understand your strengths and weaknesses, and they try to get you interested in doing the investment kind of things, and then they start or requesting for bigger deposits, and then they exit upon. So to gain your trust, first of all, they have to make themselves ready. So they try to create professional pictures like this, and they try to even make a lot of social media based different profiles. Single person have multiple profiles, and they try to load all the photographs in their profiles with beautiful locations, beautiful backgrounds, as if they are actually well settled. The intention is they want to prove that they are well settled, they are going abroad, they are having good connects with high people and all. But the fact is, all these videographs or photographs which they put on the social media, they are actually using AI to generate or use all of these and generate these pictures, and they're using in the social media platforms. So once they try to make themselves ready and try to put it up using AI techniques and all the way they generate, they immediately start try to test you, where this is the major thing to understand whether the trust has been achieved by a particular woman on him or not. And for that they try to play around certain tricks kind of thing, where they say that they are in need of money for certain things. They do video calls, again they use AI based techniques to show a kind of a hospital environment as if he really met with an accident and so on, and they ask for petty money. Once the petty money is given, the trust has come, that's what they consider. Then they start showing more affection, they do a lot of love bombing kind of a things with lots of gifts and all. The moment a very common gifts kind of diamonds have come, or the US dollars are being sent from a remote country and all, that is when they actually try to do the attacks on the users. And that's where the wishing calls kind of things come in. As you all might have heard about digital arrest, wishing, and all of these things, over here, there are lots of calls which the same scamster would be pretending to be a police officer. They pretend to be from a customs office. They pretend to be from an RBI. From a custom office, they say a diamond has been received by you in your name. It is with us. You need to pay so and so amount. When it's coming from the RBI, they say that we understand that some amount has come from international bank to here. You have to undergo some policies. They've asked for petty amount. So in this way, the moment the gifts are given, from then on, they start trying to do attacks, showing that giving all of this background as a conversational proof to the person, and try to do the different attacks over here. That's how the scamsters are trying to utilize smartphones, mobiles, AI, and all to actually do all of these threats. Now it is high time for us to actually understand that we also have to use technology in a best way. At the same time, how I can also try to utilize technology and the systems, whatever available, in a best way to identify whether whatever call I'm getting is genuine or not. The picture, what I'm seeing on a social media is genuine or not. So most importantly, we should always remember is never ever post anything online, because once uploaded cannot be deleted. Even our advocate Madam earlier, Kanika Seth Madam, also informed the same thing. So that's a very fundamental point that one has to follow. And if and all someone you're trying to see somebody's pictures and all, try to utilize Google Lens, or there are other softwares through which you do not upload your picture anywhere. However, you are free to upload the people whom you are meeting online, and where they are claiming that they are from different locations, especially they are strangers. You can definitely utilize Google search, Lens kind of a things. Even there are certain freewares like reverse image search kind of a thing, Tiny Eye, similarly Yandex Images and all. They actually try to help you to understand whether whatever picture you're seeing on the social media platform through various apps that they are sharing, whether that is genuine or it is created using a deepfake, whether the image has been morphed, whether it has been morphed, whether it has been merged with a different background. All of this you can definitely identify by using different softwares that are available online over here, and you can very well try to understand whatever pictures they are trying to show you through social media and different platforms are not genuine. You can do a reverse search on them, but please be cautious. Don't upload your own pictures. You're trying to utilize to assess the other person, right? So that is one thing, but we have to remember that you can verify those things. Similarly, remember a point that your photos which are captured in your mobiles, your friends' mobiles, your spouse mobile also, it is not that they are traveling within the same room or the same company. Even if I transfer a file from my phone to my family members who is sitting beside me, it goes across the cloud, it goes across the world wide web. So many servers are being hit up. So Whenever a photograph is taken, always remember, think, and you think whether it is okay to have this picture over internet. The moment you feel a discomfort, immediately try to avoid capturing pictures, right? So any photograph nowadays, the problem here is many smartphones are all enabled with auto sync. The photographs are automatically uploaded to the drives, the cloud storages that are provided by the mobile devices and all. No one is trying to and know whether the photographs documents are automatically synced to the cloud platforms or not. So remember, even your own photographs, your friends pictures, any picture once captured, it is not that it will be there in that device only. It will definitely go to the cloud environments if not taken certain precautionary measures. So be cautious in while capturing pictures also, and always try to take help from different sources to understand whether the received pictures are all genuine or not. And similarly, all our personal informations are actually lying in our smart mobiles, wherein smart mobiles are very, very critical things. They are actually having lot of technology built into it, where they are giving us lot of features to communicate very easily. The same features can be a problem to us if they are misused by the other malicious app or by the hackers. There are cases where people take remote control of these things and all. That's when a malicious app is coming into. Right? When a malicious app comes into, if that app is trying to take a control of your camera without your knowledge, just imagine what can happen. The photographs may be taken without your knowledge. If the microphone has been controlled by any other app that is sitting in your phone, that can also try to just turn on the camera without your knowledge and start recording whatever conversation is happening within in your professional meetings or in your personal life or anything. The gallery control, once taken up, all your photographs can go on. So it is important for us to manage these smartphones properly as well as safely. And to do that, one of the first step to do, though their different apps have different safety mechanisms, the core feature of your mobile features are being used by which apps you should always know. To do that, in case you're having an Android mobile device, go to your settings apps, you'll have all your apps listed. And when you check on any of this app, you will understand the permission section. You would see all of these are the critical features for which the permissions section will be always referring to. And here you can understand which app is utilizing which of the core features. If you really feel that there is an app which is trying to help me listen to music, then you can, and that app is trying to take control of your microphone and cameras, it's time for you to think of. And if you really need it, you have to do further settings whether you want to use it only while you are actually using it or deny it completely. So in this way, there are many more features, mobile security features. Any smartphone, any smart device we are using, they need to be properly configured. If not done, you will not be able to control the attacks that are happening through our devices or anything. So you are using smartphone, you use it the best by making proper security settings. Have wherever possible use multi-factor authentications. Wherever possible, disable the unnecessary things like Bluetooth kind of things and all when they are not in use. So in this way, by changing the security settings of your mobile devices, you will have a better control on the device and understand how much data is going in and out to the devices. And as well, you can also check all of the permissions under the security settings permission manager like this, where from single permission manager, you'll just see all of the critical features of your phone. And in reverse, you can just check how many of my apps in this phone are utilizing SMS feature automatically. So it means that these apps will be able to read your SMS automatically. Similarly, if you choose select camera here, you will automatically see how many apps are having control on your camera. Immediately, you can just understand based on the need of the app and behavior of the app, whether this feature will be required for by it or not, and you can definitely change the settings. This way, you try to control the mobile devices features and all. To protect yourself, it is recommended you always use strong passwords with multi-factor authentication. You should always know how to secure your mobile as well as your home Wi-Fi, because these are the two things which are very close to you, which live with you. So you have to take a responsibility to secure these things. There is a website staysafeonline.in where there are good guidelines, documents available how you can secure your mobiles, how you can secure your home Wi-Fi's. Home Wi-Fi also play a critical role. They have smart TVs. Today, everyone have smart TVs. They're all connected to Wi-Fi. If there is a person sitting in your neighborhood or somewhere, it's very possible that they can connect to your home system, and without your knowledge they can show what they want to show in your home TV. So it's very important to secure these things. Watch your device settings, camera, mic. Always ensure privacy settings on platforms. Always know the things that are happening. What is wishing, phishing, smishing? How do I identify these things? So in this way, when you know what it is, you will automatically, your common sense will automatically give you hints upon how can you enable these kind of how can you identify these kind of wishing, smishing kind of things. You need to be mindful on your online interactions that you do. Whatever you talk, whatever you share should be very, very carefully being done. Think before posting anything. Use technology wherever possible to protect yourself by ensuring proper settings. Utilize existing tools to identify the people, things, and all. And the fundamental rule, follow zero trust rule. This is the best way to think, to stop. When you don't trust anyone, you will automatically stop doing things related to the other activities, right? So I would like to say that this is something that we all should be aware of. We should be protected ourselves with GPU. GPU, I mean to say, it is greed, panic, and unaware. Do not be greedy. The love that we see on the online platforms, through different social media platforms, through dating apps, so many things that they're coming in, they may not be correct. Even the investments that they are trying to show us, they may not be correct. The moment we feel greedy, we'll start going towards the investments and all, right? So don't be greedy. Avoid being panic. If anything is happening, as madam have already told earlier, that if there is a situation, you need to report it, and you can also do anonymously. So if you go into a panic state and start landing up sharing more and more, giving more and more money to the other person, or who is actually a scamster, you'll be going into more and more trouble. So do not take any decision when you're in a panic state. This is something you have to always remember. And lastly, being unaware cannot be an excuse today. Today we have internet, we have World Wide Web, lots of information is there. Please understand what is happening around us, what kind of attacks are happening, how people are trying to fool others, and what kind of things are coming to protect ourselves and all. You should stay updated if you are utilizing the cyber resources actively on the internet. You should keep yourself updated for you to be a cyber safe digital woman. So Stop NCIA is one website which you can always use to complain about some. If you want support in deleting something that has already gone to the internet world, you can go and complain over here. They provide certain helps to actually delete those unnecessary contents from the different social media or any other platforms. So alert yourself, save the evidences as soon as you see any kind of a red flags. As soon as you feel that there is something that's maybe going wrong, try to capture evidences of the text messages, photographs, whatever it is, and take the help of cybercrime.in to report in. Lastly, I would like to say that more information on all these things that today we have discussed in this 1.5 hour of webinar, you can definitely visit Stay Safe Online to get more information on this. As well, we have a platform called as ISEA virtual platform, where you can utilize it for one-stop solution for all your cyber security resources. To make yourself aware is one aspect. Second thing is to build your career in cyber security activities. As you see, we have a common infrastructure setup where lots of resources are available, and you are free to come and use all of these resources anytime. And you can also build your cybersecurity career through this. In fact, I was understanding that the percentage of CISO role women is very less globally. It was 17% globally, which has come to in 2023-24, it has reached up to 25%. So the woman who is playing a lead roles of chief information security officer are very less. So we are providing platform for building CISOs. So we encourage all the women to come to our platform like ciso.isea.app, where you can enroll to the different training platforms that are available and make yourself trained to achieve the become a highly skilled cybersecurity professional, which with you can actually go into the lead position of CISOs and try to drive the security activities in the organizations. So these are certain things I wanted to share upon. Thank you very much. Visit these websites. Wish you all a happy Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the informative talk. which throws light on usage of technology to not only protect ourselves but also prevent the possible cyber scams which are happening in this online space, and also for emphasizing the role of women in the cybersecurity and the opportunities made available through our different sites, and the role they can play in securing the online digital space. Thank you once again. We now have come to the end of this webinar, and I would like to, before concluding, I'd now